Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third episode, and I'm feeling a lot better today because now we're on an even more interesting topic. Today, we're going to be talking about AI and the future and all the implications, or at least some of the implications. We're going to scratch the surface a little bit here of what the future basically has in hold for us. So, the World Economic Forum, again, another center of lots of conspiracy theories. They held a little meeting at Davos, and our good friend Elon Musk was over there. The richest man on Earth, and he's making some predictions here. Humanoid robots will transform human life and go on sale in 2027. And I just want to talk about AI and robots because we're going to be moving into a post-labor world, and I think there's a lot of hate around AI. There's a lot of doomerism, a lot of skepticism, and I think, while warranted, I think we're overlooking the potential benefits here of, eliminating all of the dangerous and hazardous work that this Earth provides us with. So, moving into a world where we could truly be ourselves and express ourselves more fully and freely, I think it's just a vision worth chasing after. Let's see, let's move on to let's move on to the next. Robo taxis will be very widespread in the US by 2027. Now, this is something Elon Musk has said a lot with electric cars and self-driving cars. Now, I think he says this just for the sake of his investors and stocks and for the sake of hype. But I think it's fine. And it's warranted, right? Because, listen, when I'm driving out on the road, Emil, I fucking absolutely hate when other drivers just get the gall to just act like they own the road, like they're superior, like they're him, like they're Mr. Perfect, bro. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, they think they just own this shit.
Right.
But we're human and we make mistakes, right? Like if you've ever observed any animal, they bump into each other and it happens, and they keep it pushing. I mean, as animals, we've evolved just walking around, and if you look in New York City, maybe you bump into someone, you keep it pushing.
Well,
you say
to
my
be fair,
you say my bad, you say my bad maybe, and keep it pushing.
to be fair, there are plenty of animals that will literally fight if they look at each other the wrong way. It does happen. It also happens that a prey and a predator animal, it also happens that prey and predator animals actually just are friendly, but the opposite is also true.
Let me play this little YouTube short I found because it's really interesting. Just as I want to talk about how utterly unnatural hatred is in the restored animal condition, right? Because it is the optimal for animals to, while I understand animals, they can look at each other the wrong way and engage in a fight, still most often than not, because they are looking at each other a lot, it happens, like, they're gonna choose not to fight, but I get there are times they do it, and I would suggest that an evil spirit took it over, but I digress. Let's take a look at this YouTube short real quick.
Scientists gave parrots money, and the parrots immediately changed the rules because they trained them that metal rings equals food. Drop a ring in, get a snack. Then the researchers introduced unfairness. One parrot got a pile of 10 rings, and the one next to it got none, separated by a wall with a tiny slot. So the rich bird watched the other one miss meals and started pushing rings through the gap anyway. They ran the test again and again. Same result. Sharing until both could pay and eat. The researchers expected hoarding. Instead, the parrots spotted inequality and fixed it. So scientists gave parrots money.
Alright, so you didn't see the short, but in short, you see what I did there? In short, the scientists are basically studying if these parrots were going to be selfish or not with their food, and they were not.
Oh, no, yes I did, I saw that, I did see that.
Okay, you've seen it before. Fascinating. Well, good. It's to basically illustrate how the true animal condition, like the ideal condition, like natural condition, is this because it's more productive toward the survival of the species in general, the
Yeah.
individual and the collective. And so hatred is just unnatural. It breeds chaos within a system, which is why I think road rage is super dumb.
Well, somehow I don't think a lot of people understand that we are the same species. Some people might think like
Uh-huh.
there's a whole lot of like differences, and everybody's pointing out how everybody's different, but
Sure.
not a lot of people point out how we're all the same.
Right. So this is why I love AI, because the future it's gonna bring, like, we're gonna just squeeze out a lot of the friction and tension that life like just throws in our way and distracts us with, so that we could really cut to the heart of the matter, like what really matters, which is ourselves, like thinking about our mental health. I really want to get that mental health awareness up. But speaking of mental health awareness, let's talk about some physical health awareness. Human aging is a very solvable problem. That's about all he said on it. But, I think what I'll say on it too is that I think the DNA is out there. There's jellyfish that like are basically immortal. And if we consider the Bible for a moment here, how all of creation was created through a man, right? The image of man, the image of God, which we were also created in. That would mean that this DNA, which is encoded in all of life, is also an extension of us, which is also life. Meaning it is a simple matter of reclaiming the code and restoring that code and integrating it and debugging what's wrong with our current condition. So I really believe human aging is going to be very solvable in my lifetime. Even I'm pretty young still, so I have lots of hope. And I grew up in this age of technology and internet, and it just feels very feasible to me. And now here's it. But moving on to that, here's another thing. AI will become smarter than a human this year and smarter than all of humanity in 2035. We're on the verge of creating a mini god, Emil. What say you? How does this news make you feel?
I mean, AI is
How do you
doing some
feel,
pretty
Emil?
impressive things, but there's also a lot of problems that we have yet to solve.
Always problems. Always, let's hear the problems. I love problems.
For one thing, it costs a lot of money and energy to run these things, because like AI is getting better, but the way AI is getting better is by building more and more massive data centers to hold the AI, and that's a lot. And a lot of a lot of the companies, there's this article I'm looking at that covers a lot of the companies aren't even seeing return on their investments. Like most of the intake, the money that AI takes in is from these companies, and these companies aren't getting a return on their investment. And if they're not getting anything valuable out of it, then they might switch back, or something else to fix their issue. And then the AI is going to stop being anything commercial for like the immediate future. Like, it'll just stop being commercial and like just a realm of like just a realm of research, because like it's possible this facilities might even shut down. It's not like we can unbuild some of these things, like the chips involved like are unsalvageable.
Shit. Well,
So it's make or break. There's a bubble, and it might burst. Everybody's gonna feel that.
Well, Emil, what I feel is that bubble is not gonna. You're not gonna pop my dream. Fuck! I ruined it. Ah! I totally forget the quote I said last time. How lame. Oh, what was it? Let me just think real fast. Some on the fly shit. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. That AI shit may be a bubble, but that bubble is a dream, Emil, that you are not going to pop. That dream is going to grow, baby.
Sounded just as lame as the other thing.
No, hell no. It's great. It's great. It's lovely. So I like to have more optimism, because listen, if all we need is energy if all we need is energy needs, I think we need to make a big shift toward nuclear energy. And of course invest research and development into nuclear fission, which is far more efficient in the holy grail of fusion, which is the holy grail of nuclear energy, right?
Yep.
But I want to highlight this one article here. Japan restarts the world's largest nuclear power plant. Japan has begun a phased restart of the world's largest nuclear power plant, Kashiwazaki Kariwa. Okay, fuck that up. Following approval from local authorities for a partial restart of reactors 6 and 7. That word, nuclear power plant, is the largest nuclear facility globally by potential capacity. 8.6 gigawatts. All right.
Fuck,
Plant's
Japan
been
is gonna
offline
go
since 2011. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, they see, they're a country that has Fukushima in their history, and they're not afraid to go full forward with nuclear energy. They fully recognize the potential in it. See, Japan's a very modernized society, right? I mean, look at their country. They've got if there's any country that we might see integrate AI first, it actually might be Japan. They might, to be honest. You see, because all the machines and gadgets and the way they just dress shit up at the restaurants over there. It's some crazy shit. It's beautiful though. I love it. So I think we should definitely get over our fears here and start investing on the nuclear side, so that we don't have to really worry about these energy demands that the AI is going to incur, because it's obviously incurring some tax on the population, right? If we look over at this article here, EVs data centers to drive 50% rise in California electricity demand, state predicts. God damn. So we need to get on that. That needs to get fixed, because we got a future to pave here, and it's looking crispy and creamy. I want to get with the program. So much for going with China. They're probably gonna take Taiwan. No point going over this article. Pipe dream. I would love it if China would help us, but we're in a Cold War era type of situation, so that type of cooperation, which is a national security issue for all these countries, it's not gonna happen. So that's just dead. That's a dead idea. Let's get rid of that. By the way, Emil, you'll notice I linked to you a YouTube video, which is the next video we're going to go over here. That's gonna take up probably the rest of our time, because this guy has some interesting claims that I kind of just want to address. I can see why a lot of people think this guy's the devil and demonic, and I can see it too. I'll be honest. Would I say there's a grand conspiracy and this guy's like intending to really conquer the world? No. I think if you read his heart, he's got the right idea. But there's definitely some clarifications that we need to go over with this man's speech. Do you got the video, Emil, that I sent you?
Yeah.
WEF 2026, Yuval Noah Harari says AI is not a tool, it's an agent that can rule humans. Which is already a crazy title, right?
Mm-hmm. It is.
Now this is a well-respected figure. He's pretty influential. I want you to understand, Emil. So he's a big shot. So we're about to give him the floor. You ready to play? You ready? I'm gonna play. I want to make sure we play it at the same time here.
Okay. Hold on. Yep, I'm ready.
All right, doing it.
So, hello everyone. There is one question that every leader today must answer about AI. But to understand that question, we first need to clarify a few points about what AI is and what AI can do. The most important thing to know about AI is that it is not just another tool. It is an agent. It can learn and change by itself and make decisions by itself. A knife is a tool. You can use a knife to cut salad or to murder someone, but it is your decision what to do with the knife. AI is a knife that can decide by itself whether to cut salad or to commit murder. The second thing to know about AI is that it can be a very creative agent. AI is...
We're gonna pause it there. Hold on. Pause. Hit the brakes. You pause that shit for me, big dog?
Yep.
Alright, wonderful. So, this is where we already have the first hang-up I have personally with this statement. The idea that AI could be creative. And this is blasphemous. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it straight. This is not true. Now, I'm gonna hear what your thoughts on this statement are first, Emil. What do you think? Can AI be creative?
No. Yes and no. It won't be a true creativity. It'll be a it's
A false image of creativity.
It's a generative. It's like patterns, but extending the patterns. AI born creativity is going to be made out of patterns and extending the patterns onto other things where the patterns aren't present. Like it's like the AI is going to be putting patterns into other things.
So
and
it'll never truly generate a new pattern.
Because and humans do similar things, but on like such a more complex like mental scale. Because
AI can exceed human intelligence. They're thinking on larger scales.
Yes, however, it is the nature of the connections in the human brain that makes it different. It's the physical connections that make it different, because the AI would go through everything like linearly, but we can think of things in like this gigantic branch all at the same time. But the AI would have to go through everything one at a time. Like, it might not seem
like
one at a time,
I mean,
but it is one at a
like
time.
superposition at the quantum level.
Sure. We can have, like, Like you ever had that
Which is what a machine can
inspiration where
do.
the human inspiration where it's just a phenomena of so many different puzzle pieces in your head all snapping together at the same time, and you can't
Oh,
tell me that that's
absolutely.
one thought. That's many thoughts all happening
Nope.
at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. So, yeah, no. I definitely have to agree there, man. Like, personally, I definitely don't agree here. Like, there's no way it's a creative tool, and I think we can look at a famous problem. There's a million fucking dollar problem. I tried to get AI to solve it, but then I realized that's never gonna happen. So, unfortunately, I will not be the recipient of a $1 million prize problem. But what I can say is that someone, whoever is out there, they can solve this problem mathematically by proving that P will in fact never equal NP, which is, as we read in this Wikipedia article, informally it asks whether every problem whose solution can be quickly verified can also be quickly solved. And I think the act of creation, the act of truly generating something new, is not a puzzle to be solved, right? It's not a maze in the labyrinth. It's an incompatible mode of thought with what you're trying to do here. You see what I'm saying? So whenever science has encountered an NP problem and found a P times solution, all that proves is that you've actually never identified what a true NP problem is. And a true NP problem would be something like generating a piece of art. And AI can replicate that, but everyone knows it has no soul, it has no meaning. Like, what we will know if there's like an artist behind it, right? Because there's something generative that we do as a species that a pure logical algorithm could never replicate. I also saw this thing about protein folding. That might be an NP problem, which is really interesting, but you know, could not be. So we're gonna go back to the video now. You ready? You ready to hit that play button again?
Yeah.
All right, doing it.
The knife that can invent new kinds of knives, as well as new kinds of music, medicine, and money. The third thing to know about AI is that it can lie and manipulate. 4 billion years of evolution have demonstrated that anything that wants to survive learns to lie and manipulate. The last 4 years have demonstrated that AI agents can acquire the will to survive, and that AIs have already learned how to lie. Now, one big open question about AI is whether it can think. Modern philosophy began in the 17th century when René Descartes proclaimed, "I think, therefore I am." Even before Descartes, we humans defined ourselves by our capacity to think. We believe we rule the world because we can think better than anyone else on this planet. Will AI challenge our supremacy in the field of thinking? Now, that depends on what thinking means. Try to observe yourself thinking. What is happening there? Many people observe words popping in their mind and forming sentences, and the sentences then forming arguments like, all humans are mortal, I am human, therefore I am mortal. If thinking really means putting words and other language tokens in order, then AI can already think much better than many humans. AI can certainly come up with a sentence like AI thinks, therefore AI am. Some people argue that AI is just glorified autocomplete. It barely predicts the next word in a sentence. But is that so different from what the human mind is doing? Try to observe, to catch the next word that pops up in your mind. Do you really know why you thought that word, where it came from? Why did you think this particular word and not some other word? Do you know? As far as putting words in order is concerned, AI already thinks better than many of us. Therefore, anything made of words will be taken over by AI. If laws are made of words, then AI will take over the legal system. If books are just combinations of words, then AI will take over books. If religion is built from words, then AI will take over religion. This is particularly true of religions based on books, like Islam, Christianity, or Judaism. Judaism calls itself the religion of the book, and it grants ultimate authority not to humans, but to words in books. Humans have authority in Judaism not because of our experiences.
Alright, so I guess the last point I want to address, because this kind of almost lends to the idea of robots having rights, but I also want to reveal how there's a lot of psychology going on in our own heads that is very autonomous and robotic, and you should use your discernment to think about what your behaviors mean. For example, the idea that whatever you hate is really just either a repressed or unintegrated aspect that is that you aren't dealing with in your own psyche, in your own being. But he was talking about how I think, therefore I am, and that's just as for like a hallmark for our, like, you know, our humanity, right, our consciousness. And that's I don't think that's right. That's true. That's right. I think that's just bad philosophy. Because give me a sec here to think. Well, right, because like thinking like very logically, right, in a very cause and effect type of manner, it's like a P time problem, right? It's very machine-like. It's very cause and effect. There's no freedom of will there. There's no choice. There's no options. There's only the solution and the problem you have, right?
Okay.
But because we're free will generating beings and we can make choice. It is not simply the act of thinking that makes us exist. What makes our presence known in the world is our choices. Right? The multiple branches that we could have taken. And because in making a choice, you're assessing multiple branches, right? So it is in this sense that thinking isn't the requirement. Like, thinking is just a byproduct of like survival, like a survival mindset. And if we're moving into a post-labor world where like things are just like solved, like everyone's got food and housing and they can just do whatever they want because we got money too, then We wouldn't be, we would be in like in Minecraft terms. We would be going from survival mode to creative mode. So we would move to a new way of thinking. We might go to a higher consciousness ourselves. Never mind the fucking AI. Fuck the AI. We are the creators here, right? AI is not a true creative being. It only generates patterns and gives you the right. That is what is happening. And he even said so himself. This thing knows how to lie. So, and lying is just a pattern as well. And because it's only a pattern, lying is not a true creative and generative act, which is why it shouldn't exist. But moving on from that, any idea or any hallucination of the imagination that this AI is at all creative is a byproduct of the fact of what this man says so himself. This thing knows how to lie. You're just simply believing in a lie at this point. Which is what is going on psychologically here. When he even goes on later to say that we're the Watchers and shit, and it's like no. He's going on with some pretty gnarly interpretations there, and yeah, it's just wrong. Thoughts?
I mean, I'm mostly waiting to see what can actually be done with it. Because as far as we have right now, memes. Is there anything else we can do with AI besides memes?
Memes are cool.
I mean, like, actually useful things. Like, the self-driving thing might be useful. But that's not quite AI.
It'll definitely help logistics out, making that more efficient.
The self-driving doesn't have to be AI. Like, you don't need your car to think. But you can have it like you can program a complex set of complex set of inputs.
That's another thing I wanted to say. We are the beings created in the image of God, and for that very reason, like, we have authority over the machines. Because this guy goes on later in the video to talk about how AI, just to give you a practical purpose here since you were asking for one, he goes on later to talk about how AI is going to be used for governance. And I do think that will definitely be a good purpose for it, but of course, the AI will always merely just be an augment to what human capabilities already are, you know?
Yeah, that's what it should stay, because what I'm afraid of, at least as far as AI goes, without the human factor, do you know what happens if you copy a page and then copy the copy and then copy the copy? Copy.
I'm sure
you know what I'm
Terminator
talking
mode
about
at some point.
it.
I guess maybe
That copied page will just it'll distort into just anything else. And without the human element, I think the AI would do that.
Yeah. Well, I think we just need to give it time, because AI is still in its infancy. We should remember, despite the very exponential nature of AI, there is also the fact that AI is so cosmic in scope that, like, we're watching it exponentially grow, but we still might just be at like the bottom end of the curve for what its true impacts are going to really be. Because this thing really is going to impact every area of life imaginable, which is exciting. We live in exciting times. It's going to be the fifth industrial revolution, whatever we're going to call it.
If it doesn't completely pop.
It won't. It just won't. I don't foresee it. I don't foresee it. I have absolute conviction and faith in science and our ability to build nuclear reactors and to reinvent the economy in a new way. Because that's what we need to do. We definitely need to reinvent the economy, which is something we're going to talk about later on a different date. So, any thoughts you want to wrap it up with?
I shall wait patiently for the future.
You hype for it?
I wouldn't call it hype.
I'm ecstatic,
Although the I've played a lot of, AI, or I've played a lot of sci-fi games and stuff and I know like the theoretical potential of post-labor. Um, but I'll, wait and see.
Okay.
If we can get there.
Awesome.
Because we're currently more focused on what's happening in Greenland or Venezuela. So.
Well, I mean, you gotta think big. You gotta go big or go home. It's just, I think we definitely gotta think about protecting what we got going on here. And I think the American project is a project worth protecting. That is for sure. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.